Hello everyone, welcome back to Slapdash. Well, the splash pad, I suppose. Here with one half of the Slapdash channel. Yeah, Rune is not here today. I'm going to be doing this by myself. Yeah, it's your basic Reddit Souls video. Just gonna be reading some crazy ass, sometimes crazy, sometimes sad, sometimes depressing, yada 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 Reddit stories over some Dark Souls gameplay. Well, there be, well, sometimes gameplay, sometimes we play while reading it, and so on, so on. As you can see, it is Dark Souls 2. Uh, so yeah, hopefully your eyes don't burn out, but you should be fine. But yeah, so let's just get right on into it, shall we? So today I'm going to be covering r/slash best of Redditor updates. This first one is called This one is from Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for wanting a family heirloom that was accidentally promised to both me and my sister? All right. Original post. This was in January. It was January 24th, 2025. So it's pretty recent actually, and it is a concluded story. My grandmother is about to move into assisted living. Because of this, she is getting rid of most of her stuff from her current home. My sister, 23F, and I, 25FTM, get first choice of many of the things my grandmother is getting rid of. My grandmother owns a piano that used to be her mother's. It is something my family has cherished for a long time. I am a musician, and when I started going to school for a music degree, my grandmother promised that she would give me the piano either when she passed or when she moved into assisted living. Last week, I found out that she also had promised a piano to my sister a while back. This wasn't malicious or intentional on my grandmother's part. Her memory is no longer the best, and she did not realize she had promised it to the both of us. My sister and I are now trying to figure out who gets the piano. My sister argues that she should get the piano because she has a long-term partner and they want their future kids to learn to play the piano on my grandmother's piano. I argue that I should get the piano because I'm the only one who is actually a musician, so I would already be using it long before my sister and her partner have children. My mother says I shouldn't want the piano because I'm a vegan and the piano has ivory, therefore making me a bad vegan. If I keep the piano, my response to that would be I don't buy this extremely old piano, and it is a family heirloom that means a lot to me. We haven't brought this dilemma up to my grandmother because she has declared that if we cannot decide who gets something of hers, she will sell it without question, and no one in the family wants this piano to be sold. It feels like my family's on my sister's side, and they think I'm being selfish for wanting this piano, even though I am realistically the person who would use it the most. Um, hmm. Is this person the asshole? So there is an update about it, but before I read the update, hmm, the whole vegan thing, that is really funny, honestly. Like, oh, it's made of ivory, so you probably not gonna want it. Like, I guess technically it's an animal product, but at the same time, I don't think that really matters. But I don't think she's the asshole in this. I think that, well, then again, hmm, I think she definitely has like the advantage. Oh, sorry. My bad. He actually has the advantage of, I guess, actually being a musician and knowing how to play it. I think they could do some kind of compromise in that maybe the sister could have him teach her kids how to play piano on it, like a compromise like that. He can use it until the point where his sister's kids, she gets to the point where she wants her kids to start learning piano, and then boom, the brother can teach the sister's kids how to play piano on that piano, and it's no big deal without having to trade the piano, because it's just going to sit and just take up dust until the sister actually has kids, which she's 23, so it'll probably be a minute. But yeah, I think that he is not the asshole. I think he was promised a piano. Yeah, I think she should get it. He is not the asshole. Alright, so this is the update. February 6th. To summarize, my grandmother is moving into assisted living and is giving away most of her possessions. She accidentally promised her piano to both me and my sister, and we both wanted this piano. Right, that was a summary I didn't realize. Update. I talked to my grandmother about the situation. Originally, Originally, my sister and I kept it between ourselves because my grandmother promised to sell any item we argued over. However, I wanted my grandmother's insight. My grandmother felt guilty about accidentally promising the piano to both me and my sister. We discussed the pros and cons of me keeping the piano or giving it to my sister. In the end, we decided it would be best if my sister kept it because the piano hasn't been maintained very well. And my sister mostly wants it because of its sentimental value. My grandmother told me that if I let my sister keep the piano, she will buy me a piano that is in better condition. I am beyond grateful for this. My grandfather decided to talk to a friend about this situation, and they informed her that they have a piano they're trying to get rid of, and the piano is in good condition. My grandmother said that she will pay for the cost of the piano as well as the cost of moving the piano. I offered to pay myself. My grandmother said that she has the money and doesn't mind paying, and to consider it as an apology for starting an argument between me and my sister. Overall, this turned out a lot better than I expected. My sister and I both get a piano, and my family heirloom gets to stay in the family. Thanks for all the advice and on the original post. Huh. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good ending. Everyone gets what they want. Everyone's happy. No notes. Grandmother did a great job at organizing it, so that it was fair for both. And yeah, let's let's move on to our next story here. Another one from, well, best of Reddit updates. Another one from Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for refusing to babysit my sister's kids for several weeks while she is on a baby moon with her boyfriend? Trigger warning: entitlement and child abandonment. OP is 28F, and her sister is 38F and has 3 kids. Melanie 11F, Sarah 8F, and Carl 5M. Goddamn, she had a goddamn village. Holy shit. With her ex-husband, whom she divorced 6 months ago due to her cheating with her current boyfriend, Daniel 62M. What the hell? That's a crazy fucking age gap. And I'm sorry. 38, that means first kid at 27. Okay, so 27, 30, and 33. I don't, a 3-year age gap between each one. I don't know. That's kind of, oh. Okay, anyway. Jamie's kids are absolute brats, and the last time they were over 3 years ago, Melanie smashed a vase and Sarah scribbled on my Uggs with permanent marker. This is when I decided to become child-free. I also decided to distance myself from them, although I do speak with them and we do have occasional family dinners at my aunt's place. You know what? Completely understandable. Anyways, Jamie and Daniel are expecting a child, a boy, and they decided to go on a baby moon, which will happen in a week. And they're not very wealthy. Jamie spent nearly all of her money on the trip, and Daniel will work double shifts till then and after the baby moon to support both of them, so they did not hire a babysitter. Yesterday, Jamie unexpectedly called me and asked if I could babysit her kids. I said no, as I have been getting a degree online and have to fly to where my university is for my graduation ceremony. At first, she tried to persuade me, saying her kids are absolute darlings and I won't even notice they are there. I said my answer was still the same, and then she went off in a rant and called me all kinds of shit, like that I'm a heartless bitch who can't have a little compassion for her poor pregnant sister. I told her if she wants somebody to work for her for free, she can actually get a job and not sleep with men who are literally old enough to be her father in the hopes that they are rich. God fucking damn. She hung up and is now bombarding me with texts begging me to reconsider. I am beginning to feel a bit guilty. Should I have been nicer to Jamie? Am I the asshole? No. Her kids, her responsibility. It is not your responsibility to deal with it. Yeah, she is the one who decided to get knocked up and have these children, and she should not expect to have any breaks from them for as long as they are still children, not 18, and even then she should still expect to have some kind of, responsibility for them. I understand that it's hiring being a parent, but you signed up for it, so you need to deal with it, not try to pin it off on other people. Or if you want to break from it, do it correctly and pay someone to take care of them instead of trying to put them off on your family. But yeah, and we have an update here. Update February 6th, 2025, the next day. Last night, Jamie texted me. She seemed upset. Apparently, she had to cancel her baby moon because I rudely denied the amazing opportunity to watch her kids. However, not everything from the canceled trip was fully refunded, so she demanded that I compensate with the rest and also pay for a fully funded trip to Disney for her, Daniel, and the brats. She also sent me links to several things, such as a pack of Japanese diapers, baby clothes, baby shoes, what baby needs mini Asics that cost a bomb, and other stuff totaling about $500. I didn't text back, who the fuck is buying diapers from Japan? Jesus. After Daniel called me, I didn't pick up. Well, I guess if you live in Japan, okay, that's besides the point. Later, Daniel called me. I picked up at about midnight. Jamie showed up at my house and dropped off Melanie, her 11-year-old off. Now I'm conflicted. Should I call the police and get Jamie in trouble and possibly get Melanie in trouble with Jamie, or should I go to her house and sort this out? I really hope I don't have any more updates. Yikes. Yeah. She needs to learn that she can't do that. You need to call the police about it. That is straight child abandonment, whether it's with a family member or not. She is not your responsibility. She is your family, but she is not your responsibility. And your sister needs to learn that she can't do that, and that is not the way the world works. So, yeah, she needs to call the police. She is not the asshole at all in this scenario. She simply just doesn't want to have to deal with kids that aren't hers. All right, let's get into the next one. This is one. Let's see here. This is from. This was originally from r/legal advice. Title: Neighbor is doing weird things that are threatening to me. Okay, so this is from February 4th, 2019. Okay. A few weeks ago, a neighbor moved in across the street. To my knowledge, it's one guy who is about 40 to 50 years old. For the past few weeks since he moved in, he has been taking walks around the neighborhood, and every once in a while, he passes my house. My living room has a window that can see into the front yard. He stands and watches me. When I go outside to investigate, he just says something of the tune of admiring my shingle work or stargazing. He has used these excuses before. He has never come directly onto my property when he does. A few days ago, I came home, and when I went to pull the trash cans back from the street, my neighbor is sitting on his front porch with a rifle in his lap in plain view. I ask him if there is anything wrong, and he just nods at me. I went back to my house and called the police. Now the spot I called the police from was in my kitchen. The only way to look into my kitchen from a window is if you walked up to my living room window and peered to the left. After hanging up the phone, I turned towards the living room and saw my neighbor about 2 feet away from my window peering in with the rifle. I went into my room and locked the door. After the police arrived, I told them what happened, and they told me that since he wasn't pointing a gun at me, that it wasn't a threat. The most I can do is trespass him, but by the time they arrived, he left his house. Yesterday, I came home at about 10 p.m. and found a dead fish in my mailbox. What the fuck? Your neighbor secretly a cat? Jesus. Without any evidence, how can I stop my neighbor from harassing me? Can I get a restraining order against him? I don't even know what to say. That is a unique situation. A dead fish in a mailbox. That's some kind of threat. Jesus. Ugh. Alright, so here's your next update. February 12th, 2019. This was 8 days later. Since I got cameras, so this is what happened afterwards. Since I got cameras with night vision motion detection alerts, window tint for my living room, and big thick curtains, I also got a few of those stickers for the area of my house that says "Insured Bike Lock" to deter any intruders. Now my first night, I got my cameras checked in the morning after to see if they worked. I made sure there were no blind spots and all of them were fixed with no movement at all. I checked the cameras the morning before. Someone walked up to them wearing all black, including a mask, and pointed them down. When I left for work that morning, someone spray painted a knife on my mailbox. I filed a report with the postal inspector and called the police. The police said without any video evidence, there wasn't much I could do. At night, I woke up to a loud noise hitting my house every so often. I checked the cameras, I couldn't see anything, so I went out and investigated and noticed small holes on my house. Noticing around the ground, I see discharged rounds. I called the police, and from there I can confirm it was 22 shots shot from far away. I have a concrete home, so it would explain. This dude shot at her house? What the fuck? The police offered to have a car patrol the neighborhood and sit outside for 3 days and nothing happens. I asked them if I can get a protective order from my neighbor who has a history of being hostile and said since I have no direct evidence of implicating him that I can't file it out of nowhere despite previous confrontations. I filed another report with a different officer and got the same spiel. I asked them to take fingerprints of the bullets, and they chuckled and put the bullets in a bag and left. 3 days ago, I heard shots again and checked my cameras. Noticed they were facing my neighbor's house, just where I put them, and I see a silhouette shooting from the middle of the street before stopping and running into the back of my neighbor's house. After that, I called the police in my room while watching the cameras. The police come and do walk me through the same BS last time, even after I showed them the cameras. They knocked on my neighbor's door and he claimed he heard and saw nothing after they left. I asked him if he was telling the truth and he looked and smiled. It was very unnerving. I don't know what to do at this point. Uh, Neighbor is a fucking psychopath. Jesus. Alright. Final update 3 months later, April 23rd, 2019. This similar behavior is something I suffered over the course of 1 to 2 months in Florida. Okay. I made posts in LA asking for help and got reasonably good answers. Unfortunately, my neighbor pushed it too far and tried to break into my house in the middle of the night after a series of escalating behavior. As a result, I shot him multiple times. I was questioned and interviewed over 7 hours and then released due to Florida's stand your ground laws. Turned out neighbor was mentally ill and the family is currently trying to sue me for wrongful death. I hope this goes better than LAOP than me. I should have just moved. Holy shit. She killed the dude. The dude fucking got killed. Oh my god. That is insane. God, dude got his just desserts. Holy shit. I mean, she is completely in the right. Honestly. Like, Jesus. Alright. That's just next story. This one is from. This post is originally from r/relationships. I, 16M, got into an argument with my older brother, 26M, and told him he'll never measure up to our deceased father. Okay. March 11th, 2019. I have 3 older siblings, 2 sisters who are 28, and my older brother Chris, who is 26. I am the youngest child at 16. 3 years ago, our dad died of cancer after a pretty rough battle. Being 11 when my dad got sick, I remember it being a pretty scary time for me. Not always understanding what was happening. But the one thing I always knew is that Chris was there for me. Obviously, it was also a very difficult time for Chris, but he really looked out for me during that time. And Chris has continued to be the same great guy and awesome big brother to this day. So 3 weekends ago, that's a weird way to put it, I went to a party, drank too much, and got drunk for a 3rd time in my life. I know that feeling, Jesus. I called Chris and asked him if he can come and get me when I wanted to leave, and my friends, one of which was a designated driver who was sober, wanted to stay. Chris came to pick me up, worried that I was going to get in a car with a drunk driver if he didn't. The next day, he lectured me on my drinking problem and getting in the cars with drunk drivers. Things I hated because I felt like he was assuming a lot because I'm in junior high and I've only drank 3 times at parties, which I feel is pretty normal. And I wasn't going to get in a car with a drunk driver. My designated driver was completely sober, so I felt like I was more responsible than he was giving me credit for. But yes, I was drunk enough to think calling him at 10 p.m. out of the blue to pick me up was good because I was tired. Because I was tired was a good idea. Okay, drinking. That's crazy. Middle school? No, high school, I guess. But middle school, that's crazy. And then 2 weeks ago, Chris found out I quit the soccer team. He started lecturing me on commitment, talking about how I need to be doing an extracurricular for college, and I shouldn't just quit because of laziness. And then things got heated. He started talking about my drinking problem again, and talking about my room being messy. Then we were really arguing, and he was accusing me of being disrespectful, and then I fucked up. I lost it and told Chris he wasn't my dad, and I didn't need him lecturing me. And now he thinks he could replace dad, but he'll never be half the man he was. I was mad and just looking for something mean to say. Chris left my room and about 30 minutes later came back and apologized for overstepping. It was clear he had been crying, but I was still mad and couldn't bring myself to apologize even though I knew that I said that I knew that I should and that I didn't mean what I said. Chris left and went back to his place, and we didn't talk for 3 days. 3 days later, I finally did the right thing and texted him a heartfelt apology for what I had done. He thanked him for always caring enough to be there for me. I told him I spoke with the coach and about rejoining the soccer team. Text back hours later, thank you, that means a lot. Since that, we've only spoke sporadically over text, whereas we used to speak all day. I've asked him if he wants to hang out, and he's always busy, or he says maybe tomorrow, and then I text him the next day. He doesn't reply until it's too late. Chris has come to every soccer game I've ever had over the past couple of years, but he missed the last two. I've apologized again by text. I would do it in person, but I haven't seen him since our fight, whereas normally I would see him a couple times a week. One of our things has been going to see new Marvel releases together. I asked him if he wants to go next week, and he said his girlfriend surprised him and took him this weekend. So I replied, okay, maybe we can do something else together. I'd love to hang out with you. I miss you. No reply yet. I know what I said was completely fucked up and wrong because besides being a very mean thing to say, it's not true at all. He's great. I understand why he's upset, and I know it's my fault, but I don't know how to make things better. Chris was overbearing at times, but I would give anything to go back to that right now. Is there anything more I can do to fix this? That's very difficult. He shot obviously hurt his brother more than he probably realizes. His brother cares about him a lot, but did go a little too far on some places. But honestly, I'd say everyone sucks here in some ways. But yeah, this isn't really something you can go back to normal with. You can only mend the wounds that are still there. Sure, it'll be healed, but there'll still be scars. Jesus. All right. Here's the update. Someone advised me that I write my brother a letter apologizing, which I did. I apologize for being mean and hurtful, and that I was wrong for doing that. I also got him a separate card and wrote a message thanking him for everything he's done for me. I went to his house with my letter and card when I found out he was going home to talk to him, but unfortunately when I got there he was gone already, so I slid them under the door. When he got back home, he found them and read them, and then he called me to arrange a time to come and see me. He came over here, and I apologized in person for what I did. He was very straightforward and honest with me about my actions. He explained that the reason he's been avoiding me lately is because he needed some time apart because he was beginning to not like me. He said loved me, but he didn't want to be around me sometimes. And that was pretty hard to hear. He said that lately, and I've just not very nice comments about our dad was by far the worst, but I make other snappy comments. He had tried to brush it off as me being just a teenager, but had now decided that it was best to let me know. Being a teenager is not an excuse to be a constant asshole to everybody at home, is how he put it. He gave me a few examples, and looking back, he was absolutely right. It was pretty upsetting to hear. I know he wasn't saying it to upset me, and I was thankful for what he was telling me, or at least I'm thankful now. I promised that I would check my attitude. He said a little bit more thoughtfulness was all I needed, and that even though sometimes I act like an asshole, he knows that I'm not one. After we finished talking, we hugged, and he told me not to forget that he loves me and that I'm great. Since I've been trying to be more considerate early, I'm trying to follow the advice he gave me. It's been a couple of months now, and I'm happy to see that it's working. Our mom told me a couple of weeks ago that I'm a joy to be around. In the car earlier today, my brother told me that it's been really nice spending time with me lately, so that's good news. That's awesome that they came to a reconcile and talked to each other and figured things out. But yeah, so that was yeah. Let's just get on to the next story, shall we? All right, so this next story is from r slash relationships. I, 23M, am madly in love with my best friend, 23F. Throwaway because friends know my real account. So I've been best friends with this girl, Amanda, for my entire life. We were neighbors and our moms were very close. We've both been through the same struggles, single moms, learning throughout school. She is my closest friend and she remains to mean the world to me. When we were both 20, our moms kicked us out of the house. I guess they thought we should grow up. Whatever they meant by that. We ended up finding a place to live together, and we've been living together for 3 years now. We graduated college last year and now have decent paying jobs. I've always had a crush on her, but never acted upon it in fear of ruining our friendship. I've had a couple of GFs, but never really saw a future with any of them. I guess I was with them just to say I was in a relationship. She, on the other hand, just got out of a relationship. She was with him for 4 years. He cheated on her and left her for some other girl. I don't know. We've both been single for 10 months. I really want to tell her I love her, but I'm also scared as shit that if she doesn't reciprocate the same feelings, our friendship will be ruined. Remember, we lived together, so it would just add to the awkwardness. What should I do? Hmm. Honestly, just do it. That's my opinion. Update. So after reading through the comments and doing some thinking by myself, I decided to tell her. Told her I told her about this yesterday morning. Amanda was sitting in the living room watching TV, and I sat right beside her. I turned off the TV and said we needed to talk. I started talking nonsense for a couple of minutes, and she asked what the hell I was talking about. Finally, I got right down to it. I straight up told her I was in love with her. Went on about how much I loved her and how know her better than anyone else. At this point, I started crying. Maybe it was the fact that I was pouring my heart out to her, but it happened. After I finished talking, she sat there and was silent for damn near a minute. I immediately thought the worst. She didn't love me back. Out of nowhere, she says, "Fuck, I've been waiting for you to tell me this." This seriously caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting this at all. Apparently, she felt the same way I felt about her. She said that she always liked me as a friend, but living together made her like me more than just a friend. I told her we should give this a shot since we both feel the same way. She agreed, and now we're officially a couple. To cement that, she took my hand and led me to the bedroom. What happened next was the loudest, greatest, most passionate sex I've ever had. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Good for them. Good for them. So this one is from r/advice and r/tales from the front desk. Sorry for the long ass post. I'm really upset and partially venting, but do also want advice. I'm a night auditor at a hotel. My job is largely sitting in the back and watching the cameras, printing out papers to store for accounting purposes, and helping guests that arrive in the absolute dead of night. I work from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. and generally am completely alone in the building except for security, who is one guy that mostly shows up for his scheduled shifts. This job has been an absolute slam dunk for me. I struggle in most workplaces due to my blend of disabilities that make waking up on time extremely difficult. Showing up to work at all can be a challenge at times. Even when I'm in the workplace, I often struggle to keep up with workloads because I'm coming in the dead of night. I don't have to worry about oversleeping since my job is just printing some papers and general customer service. I don't have to worry about not being able to handle it. My previous manager encouraged me to bring my Switch into work because it can get extremely boring, and she made it clear that as long as I'm not bothering any guests and I'm here on time and getting my work done, that it doesn't really matter. She also mentioned that there's a bell in the dining area that the cooks use. Now I can take it to leave up front so guests can easily alert me when they need something and I'm in the back. She left the company about a month ago, and our new front desk manager is an external hire. She sent her first message to a team about a week ago. About 70% of the message was her lambasting who uses the bell. She saw my signage that says, "Please ring the bell for service," or that anyone using the bell would be written up for doing so. I have pretty bad ADHD, and that being a major part of my typical struggles at work, I'm not always looking at the cameras and can't tell 100% of the time when a guest has arrived at the front desk. While I'd like to get medication to help me treat this, the waiting list is a year and a half long just for evaluation. Since I just got approved for company wealth insurance, it's so long ways out for me. Maybe it's silly, but the bell is a huge saving grace for my work performance. It's quiet, distinctive, and immediately lets me know I need to get up and help someone. I've not mentioned that it assists me with my disability to my manager, but I wrote telling her that it's useful for me. Additionally, if I don't have a bell, either the ring, there's really only three ways things will go down when a customer arrives. 1. The customer waits until I check the front desk cameras again, which could be a while because, again, memory issues. The customer walks into an employee-only area looking for me, inevitably scaring the shit out of me and looking extremely unprofessional in the process. The customer yells, "Hello!" to try and get someone's attention. None of those scenarios are necessarily ideal to me. It seems like a much easier solution to simply give customers a way of politely notifying me that they're waiting would be to give them a bell to ring. However, my manager has made it very clear that this simply won't be happening, and I don't really want them written up. While I could just sit at the front desk, that would make me unable to watch the cameras at all. And additionally, I don't feel safe doing so. The front desk is positioned directly in front of a massive window, and we're located in a shady part of town. I am certain that it would get people coming to sexually harass me. It's happened before. I just want to keep the stupid bell. I don't understand why it's such a big deal if it helps me do my work easier. But I don't know how to describe to my manager that a $5 bell I bought off Amazon is an effective disability aid for me without sounding stupid. Update. I might have fucked myself over with the new manager. So, I guess I'm kind of looking for help. I think I might have dug myself into a hole here, and I really need this job. This is going to be a super long post. Sorry. So, I'm a night auditor. I've been at the job for about 6 months now, and this is the longest I've lasted at any job. Working is really difficult for me due to my blend of mental illnesses, so when I landed this gig after accumulating a shit ton of rent, debt, and cutting ties with my abusive family, I was celebrating like I'd won the fucking lottery. The fact that I get paid to do fuck all most of the time is a goddamn blessing. The previous manager was awesome and trained me how to do everything super fast. She was actively encouraged me to bring my laptop or Switch and to play video games during my shift because otherwise I'd get so bored I'd start bashing my head into a wall. She also told me I could use the bell from the kitchen to put at the front desk for guests to easily get my attention. This had been an absolute godsend regarding my ADHD and made a sign to request guests to ring it for me during the dead of night. After only 2 shifts, she said that she was confident I could manage my own work, and I've been working alone ever since with security around a good half of the time. Back in September, she left for a different job. Everyone was pretty heartbroken, but of course, we all wished the best part for her. She departed with no issue. There was about 2 months where the front desk was reporting direct to the general manager, who was slowly but surely getting less and less responsive to messages and calls. At one point, I had a guest approach me complaining that their car had been stolen from our parking garage, and despite being told they would get the chance to speak with the GM about the incident, she had never showed up. I sent an email to the GM immediately, furious that she had not responded to our guest, and upset that my repeated calls to her over the last 2 weeks hadn't been acknowledged. I told her that she had to come in that day to discuss things with our guest, as they would be checking out the next morning, and I expected to be updated on the situation as it had happened during my shift, and I would like to know how I'm expected to respond to this. I got no response. She did not arrive at the hotel that day, so I sent an email to HR saying that I was unable to get in touch with her and needed assistance ASAP. And that was unfortunately able to kick the GM's ass into gear and get the situation dealt with, though I never got my update. Finally, about a month and a half ago, her introduction to us all felt off-putting. She opened with a standard introduction and then immediately dove into a rant about the bell. She had seen my sign saying to please ring it and went off the handle saying it was ludicrous and absurdly unprofessional. She said she threw out the sign, and should she see a sign like that again, the poster of it would have disciplinary action taken against them. In addition, she's taken away the keyboards for the computers in the back office, making them functionally unusable for everyone else. This, of course, a dogshit way to introduce yourself to your new employees, and a complete power trip to me. A bell is a normal thing to see at a hotel, and putting that aside, it would have been absolute game changer for my disability. I have really bad time blindness and will forget to check the cameras for extended periods of time. The bell is a good way to immediately get my attention whenever I'm doing and getting me to the front desk immediately. I decide that Em will surely understand if I tell her it's a disability aid, so I leave a response to her clarifying as much. I obviously don't tell her the details of my disability, just saying that I can be easily forgettable. The bell makes it easier for guests to get my attention when I'm in the back office. In addition, I would very much like to use computers in the back office. Em says it doesn't matter and that I'm not allowed to use the bell. I remind her that as a disabled employee, I am entitled to reasonable accommodation, and she's having none of it. She demands I get a doctor's note for the stupid fucking bell, or take it up with the general manager. She also neatly dodges any of my requests, asking where the keyboards are or if we can still use the back office computers. She also says if I'm experiencing trouble focusing, I should remove my distractions. This advice is very upsetting to hear, not only because I do not want unwarranted advice on how to manage my medical condition, but also because I know that is not how my fucking illness works. This is maybe where I should have stepped back. I sent an email to GM explaining that I like to use a bell as its preferable alternative to guests entering employee-only areas to get my attention, and I would like to have it cleared as a disability aid. I also mentioned that I do not want to hear him commenting on how I should treat my disability, as she is not qualified to do so. GM seemed to take a very stern tone with her response, demanding to know why I wasn't at the front desk, why I wasn't checking the cameras, and the bell has never been allowed, and I'm breaking the rules by using it. Worst of all, she demands to know why I did not mention my disability in the course of my interview. This question is fucking shocking. No employee is ever required to disclose their disability to an employer before the job has been offered, unless it makes them unable to perform the job duties. And as the manager, she should know this. I repeat that I am not required to disclose at any time until I make a request for accommodation, and that my disability means that I sometimes forget to check the cameras. And this is not something I am in control of. Additionally, I stress I have never been told that I am required to remain at the front desk for the entirety of my shift. This has never been the case for me nor anyone else I have worked my audit with. I also CC HR to be sure they're all hearing this as well. HR responds saying if I want accommodations, I'll need a doctor's note, though they do not mention GM's out of pocket demands to know why I hadn't disclosed my disability. GM denies that she ever requested I disclose my disability, despite the fact that I have the fucking email sitting in our reply chain just a few days prior. She says that I am to respect M's authority as she has many years of experience in the industry. This is not something I have ever denied, and that I'm to remain at the front desk for the entirety of my shift. Additionally, she says that M has claimed I've been hooking my laptop up to the work monitors to play video games. The accusation has come out of nowhere. While I have brought my laptop to work to play games, this is something I was extremely explicitly told I was allowed by the previous manager, and I have never connected my personal laptop to the work computers. I tell her as much and make sure to stress I am upset with them because she gave me unsolicited advice on how to manage my medical condition she is not qualified to comment on. Her experience as a hotel manager is relevant in that specific matter. I also make sure to stress that it is incredibly fucking weird considering how bad M has stressed that she is the manager and she never approached me about this supposed workplace habit. I would expect her to discuss any issues with my performances with me directly, as that would be the normal thing to do. I've not gotten a response to this email, and it's been 3 weeks since I sent it in. I'm honestly not sure what to do now. Did I just completely let my anger about this whole situation fuck me over? Do I get papers from my doctor saying that I'm disabled? If I do that, should I bother with this stupid bell that caused all this bullshit? I mean, I want my fucking bell back, but it's not worth losing my job. Okay, so this is another update. I made a post here a while back about my manager taking the bell I use at the front desk. Long story short, I like using the bell as an effective disability aid, and I was originally encouraged to use it. New management came and said if I was caught using again, disciplinary action would be taken. I told her it was a disability aid. She didn't care. She didn't care. Took the issue to my general manager, who began to grill me on why I hadn't disclosed my disability during my interview. Of course, she is not allowed to say that. Legally, I'm not obligated to disclose, and she's not allowed to ask me to do so during the course of an interview. If I CC'd HR in my response explaining as much. However, nothing came, and eventually the situation died down, though I didn't get my bell back. However, apparently my email got a small investigation cropped up around the GM's behavior. Culprit began sniffing around and found that next to nothing in our hotel was complaint with corporate policy and bonus money that should have been sent to the front desk staff. As a result, positive reviews mentioning him by name never actually made it to the staff. According to a co-worker of mine, the GM had to be escorted out of the building. I spoke with the new acting GM about everything, and he said he was excited to meet me because of the multiple glowing reviews he read that mentioned me by name. He's interested in equipping me with the skills to begin rising up the management ranks and asked me to expand on things that would make my job easier. Among some many changes he's planning on implementing came my personal favorite bit of news. I got my bell back. So that was this episode of Reddit Souls. I hope you all enjoyed these stories and also the gameplay, I guess. But yeah, this is Reddit Souls. Make sure you use code SLAPDASH, SLAPDA money sign H, all caps, at w.gg for 10% off at checkout. W is this very, very tasty powdered energy drink, similar to the other brands like Gamer Subs and G Fuel and stuff like that. But it uses different types of caffeine that's a little bit more healthy for you. And yeah, they even have hydro options. They have really high quality shakers for the price. Really high quality stuff in general for a pretty good price. But yeah, make sure to use my code once again, slapdash SLAPDA money sign H, all caps, at w.gg for 10% off anything at checkout. It'll give you a little bit of discount and help us give us some money and help us out too over here on the Slapdash and Splash Pad channels. But yeah, hope y'all enjoyed this. See you on the next one.